All right, y'all, I'm back. I'm sorry. Mom duties took precedence. I had to go get my child from school because he was misbehaving. Back to basically what we were talking about with the Two of Wands was the last card I mentioned with the fear of making the wrong choice, playing small, lack of foresight. You could be going sober from something, or you could be making the changes to step away from some toxic behaviors of your own or things that you were doing that weren't working for you. Again, there could be people who are trying to keep you stuck in the same cycle. You're resting a lot, you're tired, but you're not wanting to commit to this work. It's worth the commitment. The next card that we have is the Hermit card, and this card represents withdrawing from the external world in order to awaken and commune with the wisdom of the inner self. So this could be a call that with this rest, that you're feeling that you're feeling that you need the rest you're needing, you do need it, and you need to get that rest, but you also need to be productive. But with the Hermit card, you're also being called to maybe take a step back from society, take a step back from external influences. Sorry. But the Hermit card represents, it may be good for you, productive for you to take a step back from everything and everyone, and not necessarily, I don't like using the word isolate all the time, but it is representative of isolation, not in a bad way, but in a way to really just come back home to yourself and ground in yourself. And it could also mean a time to stop letting people project onto you, stop letting people control you, manipulate you, control how you feel. It could just be a time of distance. You may need to take some time away from everyone you once knew, or I hate everyone you once knew, everyone who in the past up until now has had major influences on you in your situations. It's a time to really take a step back. Just take a step back, focus on yourself, show up for yourself, and commit to this work for yourself so you can evolve and grow. The next card that we have is the Moon card. This Moon card is representative of the dark night of the soul. You could be going through an awakening right now. You're going to have a lot of depression. You may be feeling like you're going mad and insane at some point. You could also be struggling with a little bit of escapism. That could reference the fact that, like, your Knight of Wands energy, where you don't like to stay committed, you like to chase the next adventure. That could represent trying to escape the work that you need to do. Also starting issues where there aren't any issues. That could represent, trying to just escape, trying to ignore the work. Instead of taking your strength and getting it done, you're being a coward and kind of hiding from it. That could be another way of you escaping from the position that you're in the situation you're in your reality right now. So keep that in mind. The next card that we have is the Justice card. This card is representative of weighing your priorities in order to gain a sense of balance and equilibrium. And it's also a reminder that divine justice never fails. This card is a reminder to keep in mind that you have an effect on everything and everyone around you. You need to make sure that you're doing right by everyone to the best of your ability. We all do wrong, but you need to try and make sure you're making choices for the good of all, not just for your own selfish needs. Also, there could be some justice happening right now. Some people around you, or even you yourself, could be being held accountable for some things that you've done wrong in the past, for some things that you've played a role in. You could be being held accountable for your own justice, things that you've done wrong, things that you've consciously chosen to do out of like a selfish mindset that now you're kind of seeing that wasn't right, and you're kind of paying the price for it by being where you're at and having to do this work that you're having to do. The next card that we have is Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups card, aces are always good cards. They're representative of new beginnings and hope. This one is an opportunity to reach for your heart's desire. So with this card, or with all these cards coming through and where you are needing to do the work that you're needing to do, the work you're being called to do, the position you're in, the choices you're making, the changes you're making, and the Justice card coming in, even though I feel like the Justice doesn't necessarily have to do with just you. I feel like it has to do with a lot of people. A lot of people around you, including yourself, are probably being held accountable in a sense. You're being given the karma that your karma's coming to you. Karma's a boomerang. Whatever you've been putting out in the world is finally coming back to you, and you're feeling it. But if you feel it and you commit, you hunker down and you work through this, you've got an opportunity to reach your heart's desire coming up into your life. Like, you're going to reach a part where you're going to have kind of like a new beginning handed to you by the universe, maybe an opportunity or a fresh beginning or a restart for you. It could have to do with anything that you've been desiring in your life, but you just haven't been able to manifest in a sense, or maybe you've been pushing it away in a sense because of who you've been. The last card is the King of Wands. So with these being the last two cards, if you are to just really commit and truly find your strength, don't let the fear take over. Stop letting that fear take over you. You need to find your strength. You need to understand this is where you're meant to be. Rest is necessary. Rest, let yourself rest, but make sure you're balancing it with getting things done and being productive. Make sure you're balancing it with getting up and making changes and being consistent and committing to your change and committing to doing this inner work so you can stop this cycle that you've been doing. If you do this and you commit to this work, you're gonna get an opportunity to really have something that you've been desiring. And with the King of Wands, with it meaning self-confidence, a leader commanding an atmosphere of daring expression, you're going to come into a moment after this work where you're going to have an opportunity to kind of have a new chance in your life, in a sense. Like, you're gonna have this opportunity, something you've always desired but you thought it was out of reach because of these cycles you've been stuck in, these people you've been stuck around that you haven't stepped away from, substances that have kept you in these just ongoing swirling, spiraling cycles that keep you going downward. Changing the direction by doing your inner change, you're going to change the direction. You're changing the cycle. Like, you're changing your habits, you're changing your choices, and you're going to get an opportunity. And with that, you're going to get a lot of confidence in yourself. With this change that you do, you're going to have a lot of confidence, not only in just who you are, you're going to be confident in who you are, because you're going to be able to say, like, oh, this is me. Like, who I was not me. Like, that's not who I was meant to be. Like, yes, you're responsible for who you were and you were making those choices, but that wasn't who you're meant to be. Like, that doesn't speak for your soul and who you are deep down, the person that you really have been trying to just suppress. You're going to become confident in who you truly are. You're going to get a lot of confidence in showing your true self and not feeling like you have to hide from it, or you have to hide who you are or be ashamed of who you are. And you're going to be confident in kind of leading other people and showing other people how to do things. And with the card representing sobriety, if you are getting sober, you may find yourself in a position where you'll feel confident in leading other people who are interested in changing their lives and maybe getting sober from different substances, whether it's the same as yours, stuff like that. So it's a pretty good reading. My advice is just to stay committed, hunker down, get your stuff done, do your inner work. Know that this is the inner work that we're called to do, and it is hard, but we choose our hard, and I believe in you and you are worthy. Have a great day.